When you divide fractions, it's the same thing as multiplying the top fraction by the reciprocal of the bottom fraction. So what do I mean by reciprocal? So if we look at this here, okay, inverse operation of multiplication. So reciprocal is just the fraction flipped over. Okay, so all you do is you flip the numerator denominator. So the reciprocal of 2/3 would be 3/2. Reciprocal of 4/1 would be 1/4. Okay, so that's how you do that. So again, take the first fraction and we multiply it by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So now now we know how to do that. Let's do some examples that are on that. So let's do this. We want to divide 5/8. We want to divide it by, that's a division symbol there. So 5/8 divided by 3/4. Okay, what we do, you take the first fraction. If it's not on top like this one is, okay, then that means that you just take the first fraction. Take the first fraction, we're going to change it into multiplication, and then we're going to flip it over and do 4/3. So that's how we do that. We change it from a division problem into a multiplication problem. Then from here, we just do the same as you would do multiplication. If you can cross reduce, you want to try and do that first. So 4/8, 4 goes into itself once, and 4 divides in there. You'll be left with a 2. That's the 4 would be the largest number that would divide into both 4 and 8. So we would get 5 times 1 on top over 2 times 3, which means we get 5/6 as the answer. And so that would be how you divide those. All right. Now this one might be kind of hard to see on the screen, so I'll make this a little darker for you. This is really 15 over the fraction of 2/3. This bar was originally written a little bit longer than the one down below, so that tells you that's how you would do that. Now the top number is just 15. Now 15, I'm actually going to write that as a number divided by 1. Okay, so 15 divided by 1 is the same thing as 15. So we're just going to take 15 times, okay, so instead of division, we're going to change it to reciprocal. So you take the top fraction, which is 15/1, we're multiplying it by the reciprocal of the bottom, 3/2. Then you're just going to multiply across the top and across the bottom. So you get 45 on top over 2. Nothing more you can do. That doesn't reduce. I couldn't reduce anything back over here, so that means the final answer can't be reduced, and then that would be it. That's the final answer. Let's do one more of those. We're going to do this 7/12, and again, this is the division bar, the whole thing down here, divided by 14/3. So I'm going to do 7/12. You take the top fraction and we multiply it by the reciprocal of the bottom one. The reciprocal would just be that flipped over, 3/14. And now we're going to, you can either multiply across the top, across the bottom, and then reduce at the end, or what's easier here is to cross reduce first before you get the product. All right, so 3/12, 3 divided by itself would be 1, and 3 divides into 12. That would be a 4 down here. And then we can cross reduce the 7 and the 14. 7 divided by itself is 1, and 14 divided by 7 would be a 2. So then we just get 1 times 1 on top and 4 times 2 on the bottom, which means we'd get 1/8 is the answer, and then that would be it there. So again, whenever you want to divide fractions, just take the top fraction or the first fraction, depending on how it's written, and multiply it by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Reciprocal would, you just flip the numerator and denominator.